This is not a real documentary. These are clips from the Believe ad campaign for Halo 3, in which actors play veterans of the fictional war between humanity and the alien army known as the Covenant. It's considered one of the best advertising campaigns of all time, and it's easy to see why. To the uninitiated, it lends a layer of realism and gravitas to this epic sci-fi story, while to a longtime fan it deepens their emotional connection to its events and characters. As far as a casual observer knows, these war stories really happened. This type of presentation of fictional events as documented fact is called mockumentary, also commonly known as its cousin genre, found footage, in which events are presented as if they were discovered video recordings. Hold for cat. This latter type of storytelling saw a boom in mainstream popularity starting in the late 90s and lasting well into the mid-2010s. The nature of its formatting made it an ideal horror vehicle, though success has been found in other genres as well. But you all knew that, so why am I talking about it?
Get on with it!
Well, the idea for this video started as an appreciation for the movie Cloverfield, and how it's mellowed beautifully in the age of smartphones and social media, and believe me, that video is coming. But while developing it, I thought to myself, what other epic sci-fi plot would benefit from the mockumentary treatment? Who, or what, could stand up to videotaping a giant monster? Rather than focusing on the destruction wrought by a single giant monster, Guillermo del Toro's 2013 Pacific Rim focuses on humanity's defense from a legion of giant monsters called kaiju. Using massive war machines called Jaegers, co-pilots form neural links and slug it out with the creatures, with many crowning moments of awesome had by all. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with Pacific Rim as is. With some pretty decent character development sprinkled into the monster movie melodrama and Jaeger technical jargon, it rates pretty high amongst other movies in its genre. The purpose of this video is not to fix Pacific Rim, but to reimagine it. What would Pacific Rim look like if it had really happened? To ground Pacific Rim firmly in our reality, the movie would have to be presented as some sort of retrospective, possibly analytical in nature. Cloverfield is framed as a piece of evidence belonging to the US Department of Defense, while other media like the aforementioned Believe campaign and movies like District 9 are presented as documentaries, where events are discussed in interviews with eyewitnesses. In this case, a lot of the narrative work has been done already. Humanity's first encounters with the kaiju and early stages of Jaeger development have been painstakingly recorded, with entire museums dedicated to their memorialization. In this case, a documentary of Pacific Rim's events set within the same universe would have to be made after the fact, when the dimensional rift has been sealed and humanity has started rebuilding. Interviewees could include pilots Raleigh Beckett and Mako Mori, who in turn could offer character insight on Marshall Stacker Pentecost, the first-generation Jaeger pilot who gave his life to save the world. From there, the story would follow the same basic beats as the original movie, with a few twists. First, the interviewed recollections of an older Beckett and Mori would be what drives the plot forward, with archival footage fleshing out their testimonies. We would see pilots in training, declassified damage reports from fallen Jaegers in cities, and detailed autopsies of kaiju by leading experts. The only other major change would come in the depiction of combat between Jaegers and kaiju. In the alternate 2020 of Pacific Rim, few things are as meticulously documented as kaiju incursions. Footage from news outlets, cell phones, consumer camcorders, and social media are all as revealing about the savage nature of these attacks as the onboard cameras of the various Jaegers. These on-the-ground perspectives can lend a weight and scale to the attacking creatures and the destruction they wreak, similar to angles used in other recent monster films. All these sources of media would be used to reconstruct the various battles of Pacific Rim down to the second. This footage would be underscored by the interviewed testimony of eyewitnesses, and perhaps even the black box recordings of pilots. Combining these elements together would lend a visceral, grounded, and gritty look into the split-second nature of mech versus monster combat. To see battle from this perspective should imbue the Pacific Rim documentary's characters with the solemn, stress-tested resolve of true veterans. Now, I like Pacific Rim. I hope the Netflix show is good, and I hope the movie gets a sequel one day. This video wasn't meant to suggest that my idea would be better or worse than Del Toro's vision. It's just an experiment with genre that I found interesting, and I hope that you did too. If you like this version of Pacific Rim, or if there's something you would want to add or leave out, leave a comment below. If this video inspired you to make some art of your own, I would love to see it. Feel free to tag me on any of the social media below. If you're interested in seeing more genre-mashing videos like these, make sure to subscribe and be notified when they're released.